This is the truth about chemtrails and their effect on the environment, the poisonous secret revealed. What the government is hiding about chemtrails. A recent entry into the top 10 of modern conspiracy theories is the notion that we are all being sprayed by chemicals dispersed at high altitude by airplanes, the notorious chemtrails, and that this nefarious activity is being undertaken by our governments. Various reasons have been put forward to explain why the powers that be might be doing this. Some say it is for weather modification purposes. Others say that our governments are trying to influence the course of global warming by spraying some agent that can lessen or increase the effects of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, depending on which school of conspiracist thinking they subscribe to. There are those who firmly believe that this chemtrail spraying is being done in order to cause some physiological changes in the populations on the ground, such as experiments in disease propagation or trying mood altering or other forms of mind control. Of course, responsible and sensible people in the scientific community and within the governments and the military deny that anything sinister is happening at all. They say that the trails that are seen in the sky are contrails, made by condensation from the engines of aircraft, and that there is no such thing as chemtrails. Still, the controversy rages on. Denial by the authorities is taken as evidence of cover-up, and no matter how many scientists are wheeled out to refute the allegations, the radio shows and the internet forums are buzzing with the talk of state deviousness and even sometimes downright malevolence. I believe the time has now come to give rest to all the speculators. There is something happening, and it is quite bad. As president of the Ancient Society of Secret Historians, and one person from whom no secret can be hidden, I can tell you now that there is something happening in our skies. Furthermore, if you care to listen on, you will find out exactly what it is and who is behind it. The spokespersons for the governments are right, as also are the scientists. No governmental or military organization is spraying the people with chemtrails. There is nothing in the design of aircraft engines that can cause them to emit toxic chemicals. Neither have any modifications been made to airplanes to enable them to disperse chemical agents throughout our skies. The contrails are being changed after they are ejected. They are being targeted from the ground. This is not being done by employees of the state. It is being done instead by the agents of a very ancient and malevolent being who is motivated by a desire to bring as much confusion, madness, and depression to the world as he can. I speak, of course, of the anti-Santa. The anti-Santa, the chemtrails inventor. To explain who the anti-Santa is, his relevance to the chemtrails controversy, and to relate the origins of his long-felt hatred for the humankind, it is necessary to go back some years into our past. Most of you will have heard of Santa Claus, the old gentleman with the beard that delivers presents to children all over the world at Christmas has brought excitement and joy to countless childhood hearts. Stockings have been hung up on Christmas Eve to be found mysteriously filled up with sweets in the morning, and toys apparently have been beamed beneath Christmas trees to be played with and sometimes broken on Christmas afternoon. The image of Santa Claus as the epitome of human generosity and goodness down the ages is well known to everyone. People still marvel at how he can manage to get around so many children to deliver his gifts in one night. How many of us have not listened for the sound of sleigh bells on the roof, or looked out our bedroom windows to see if we could see him flying by the moon? He may be a great man, but he does conceal a great sadness in his heart. Behind the ho ho ho, sometimes the tears fall. The reason for this is because Santa Claus has a younger brother, and this brother is not a nice person at all. When Santa was growing up in Greenland, many years ago, playing with the reindeer, giving sweets to the polar bears, and dreaming about how he would like to spread happiness and joy to the world when he grew up, there was one person who watched everything he did with a decidedly jaundiced eye. Cedric Claus was an altogether different type of child. He was much more inclined to feed reindeer to the polar bears than to give them sweets. If young Santa stroked a kitten, Cedric would pull its tail. Anything good or nice that Santa did, his brother would always try to do the opposite. The result was that everyone loved Santa Claus and everyone hated Cedric. The more the people, the polar bears and the reindeer, lauded the older brother, the more the iron grip of insane jealousy took hold in the soul of the younger. He vowed to do everything he could to frustrate the plans of his hated rival. Time passed, and the brothers grew up. Santa realized his ambition of spreading happiness around the world. He was able to use his friendship with the reindeer to recruit some of them to pull his magic sleigh, to help him deliver the presents globally once every year. With the help of the polar bears, he was able to build a large factory underneath the ice sheets of his native country to produce a continuous stream of toys. Cedric started on a program of sabotage. He regularly put laxatives in the reindeer's food in the days coming up to Christmas. He hoped to make them too ill to pull the sleigh. It never seemed to work. Somehow they always managed to recover by Christmas Eve. Once he built a great bonfire on the ice sheet, hoping to melt the ice and flood the factory. This failed also, as the melting ice extinguished the blaze before any harm could be done. Finally, one night he decided to blow up the stables where the reindeers were kept. He was caught in the act when he made a noise and woke one of the reindeer, Rudolph by name. This one had a very shining nose which lit up the stable. By the light of this nose he could identify the intruder as Santa's evil sibling. It was decided at a special meeting of the Thai factory management that such behaviour could no longer be tolerated. As they were all much too good to execute the malefactor, besides he was the younger brother of Santa Claus, the decision was taken to imprison him in a state of suspended animation under the ice indefinitely. There he remained until the year 1996. It was as a direct result of climate change that Cedric Claus achieved his freedom in 1996. The build-up of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere had for some years been causing a gradual rise in the global temperature. This resulted in a partial melting of the Greenland ice sheet. As luck would have it, one of the first bits to liquefy was the block that had for so many years contained the inert body of the evil brother of Santa Claus. His many years' imprisonment had not softened his attitude to his flesh and blood. If anything, he emerged even worse than he had been before. He decided that he would spend the rest of his life spreading depression and madness throughout the world. He was possessed of some magic powers. He was the brother of Santa Claus, after all. At a secret location in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, he established his headquarters. He drew to him all those who were similarly infected with a hatred of all things good and happy. After an intense course in malevolent directional magic, he set his troops to work. What they were directed to do was as simple as it was fiendish. Agents were posted along all the major flight paths of both commercial and military aircraft. When an airplane flew overhead, they were instructed to send an invisible beam of directional magic to modify the contrails so that they became chemtrails. The chemicals were designed to spread negative emotions such as depression, anger, and quarrelsomeness among the population at large. Chemtrails controversy finally put to rest. These people are still operating everywhere today. Their activities usually reach a peak during the Christmas period. That is the main reason why so many people fall out at Christmas. Since the modifications are only done to the contrails of aircraft to change them into chemtrails when they are already flying, it is less easy to detect. While the scientists and governments are not telling the truth when they say that there is no such thing as chemtrails, it is not from any deliberate intention to deceive. It is just that, like everyone else outside of the ancient society of secret historians, they could not be aware of what was really happening. Should a representative of the legitimate authorities like to know more, I am at the disposal. I hope that will finally put to rest the controversy that has surrounded the subject of chemtrails. At least you can now say that you definitely know the truth.